A very good morning to you and compliments of the season. It is Friday, the 23rd day of the month of December 2022. The month is flying away. How are you? Welcome this morning. Yes, we'll have lined up some beautiful programs for you in a good morning show. It is called Good Morning Anambra. So if you sit by, you will benefit from all these packages. My name is Sijoma Uche. Do stand by. Okay, welcome again. It's time to bring you press review. And joining me this morning to look at what the papers are saying is Professor Obiajulu Obikeze. Professor Obikeze is a public affairs analyst, among other things that he is. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Compliments of the season.
I wish you the best.
I must say you look good.
Thank you very much.
And it's quite some time.
It's been we were not seeing for quite some time.
You're welcome, sir.
My pleasure.
Welcome. Okay, as usual, we're going to begin from the beginning, which is from our website. From our website this morning, we have Anambra State Government restricts commitment towards achieving universal health coverage. And then Jonapod celebrates 4th anniversary of Disability Rights Law 2018 in Oka. And finally, from our website, Ulitide, Anambra CP Eshen reassures of effective security network, Laos Saludo on fight against security. Okay, we're going to look at this before we get to the paper. The first story is about restricting commitment towards achieving universal health coverage, which is very, very important to us to ensure that everybody is healthy in Anambra State, Prof.
Yes, thank you. Naturally, we say that health is wealth. And we thank the state government for the efforts it's making to ensure that the majority of the people in Anambra State receive a good health. And if you look at it critically, there are areas which this health issue is involved. People are suffering from a lot of ailment. And because of the issue of poverty, ignorance, and some of these problems, many of us do not take necessary actions when they are needed to take care of our health. So on the part of government, this issue of sensitization and provision of necessary facilities are very important to ensure that the health of our people improves. And if the health of our people improves, productivity will improve. And the life expectancy will also improve. And people will contribute towards the well-being of the society in which we have found ourselves. Okay. So we thank the governor and his team for the job being well done.
Oh yeah, talking about improved healthcare, I know that's this policy that is on ground by the state government. That's the health insurance policy. Exactly. You were once a PG of your town.
Sure.
How will you assess people's attitude towards that? Like in your area, are people registering for this insurance program?
Well, you know, people are relatively poor, and ignorance is another thing. Because even when they are sick, they don't go to hospital until it is too late. And so bringing out maybe 12,000 to pay, I think that's what they pay for insuring one person. To pay in bulk becomes a lot of a problem for some of them. But for people who understand, you now notice that 12,000 is so small an amount to pay for such services. In our local communities, there are rich people who should be able to help the ones that are not able to pay. But I don't think we have sensitized our people enough to take up some of these problems. Like this, during this period of Christmas, people can take up maybe families of maybe 4 or 5 for rich people, it's not too much.
It's not too much. That's exactly what I was trying to say. That I know in your town you have very rich people there. And I know I have this friend that stays in America that he came back. Of course, I marketed that idea to him and he said, okay, go ahead with it. And he insured everybody in his village.
Yes.
Everybody in his village. That's if it comes to the family, he will insure the eldest person in the family, not just everybody, but every member of the family in the whole of the village. Okay, it's under that health insurance. So this is the kind of thing that we do for this Christmas period. It's not just rice and tomato.
Yes.
I think health, they say, is wealth. So you try to do this. It's a lifetime something,
Yes.
okay?
And another way of trying to improve the health of people is environmental issues, pollution, refuse disposal, and all kind of things that cause problems in the body. Our people should learn to be clean and then sanitize the environment and ensure that things that are not wanted are removed from the environment. These things will help to make the environment fresh and clean. Healthy. And then make people live longer. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, now I have another story. That's ULETIDE, Anambra CPH and reassures of effective security network launches Soludo on fight against insecurity. That has been the talk of the day. How do we secure this space so that we won't lose our home as in the Anambra? We know we don't joke with homes. Yes. Whatever you ask, and when you're Anambra, you want to come home at the end of the year to celebrate with Umunage. Yeah, so I also want to commend the state government. When the government came in newly, it was more of a battlefield. All corners of the states we are all faced with a lot of insecurity. And the governor did something, and I think relatively, we are having some peaceful moments. And the especially those of you from the south. Especially those of us from the south. The south is many of us have deserted our villages and towns, but I think we are having some hope that things are getting better now, more than it was before. But we still have problems. Hit and run problems around the hill and the rest of them. So much work is needed by the police. We know that security is a very serious business. It requires that the grassroots, people at the rural area, should be part of this issue of security. Because if you have information and you don't divulge it and then the ends and the bandits taking the advantage, it's not in the interest of the people. Exactly. So the people should, from family to town to local government, be part of security issues. Because without security, you cannot achieve anything. You can't go to school, you can't go to the farm, you can't go to the market. Nothing works. And that means poverty will continue to multiply. So that's why the governor is doing whatever he's doing to make sure that our people... And then, this period of Christmas, if you ask an Igbo man not to go home during Christmas, you have this, what's the essence of making money all the year round? And then it's not just a question of coming to celebrate or to enjoy yourself, but to have peaceful moments, very free, fresh environment where people can stay and chat and discuss issues that will affect their communities. That's the essence of Christmas. Not mainly, I mean, Igbos have seen it just like in United States. They have, I don't know what they call it there. But in November of every year, the United States, they have some of these things. People come from all parts of the world to enjoy themselves, to sit around, discuss issues, and then. But it's only done in an atmosphere of security. Where there's no security, you don't think of such things. So we encourage the police. We thank them. It's not easy to stand in the sun and the rain, trying to protect other people. But that's part of life. Some people must have to sacrifice in the interest of some others. Oh, yes. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on. Let's venture into the papers and find out what exactly is trending. Our first paper this morning is the New National Star. Okay, and on the front page of New National Star, it is another round of blame game again. Atiku planning to open borders to arms peddlers. Federal government says that Atiku is planning to open borders to arms peddlers. With riders there, says PDP presidential candidate desperate for power. And then our borders are porous, breed insecurity under your watch. Atiku replies, our borders are porous, breed insecurity
under your watch. Atiku replies, okay. And then another story there says, Godwin Emefiele's travel, the inside story. That's another big story there. I think you find that news on the page 2 of the New National Star. Godwin Emefiele's travels, the inside story. Okay, I think that's all we'll take from that paper. Let's look at another paper, which is the Punch newspaper. The Punch, cash limits not anti-people, CBN. Insists reps knock Emefiele. Cash limits not anti-people, CBN insists. And then reps knock Emefiele. Let's look at the riders too. Policy will open rural underserved communities to economic opportunities. CBN Deputy Governor says that. And then Apex Bank orders 500 million prizes of new notes. Pieces of new notes, please. It says nation ready for cashless economy. And then the final one there said Emefiele flouting CBN Act, policy ill-timed and irresponsible. Lawmakers, SADC chairman, corruption is fighting back. Okay, that's the major story here. And down here, federal government inaugurates so. I think we have seen that one. Okay, let's start talking. Prof. Yeah. And let's start with the New National Star with the allegation on Atiku that he's planning to open borders to peddlers. That allegation is coming from the federal government.
If you look at the riders, you now notice there's a lot of contradiction. The APC is accusing PDP of opening borders, even when they are not taking over, opening borders. And PDP is saying that the borders are porous, which means they contradict themselves, which means the logic is that Atiku is not going to open borders. That's the way.
That is what I wanted to ask. Has Atiku passed to open
exactly,
the borders?
So.
And then when you say APC, are you now, do you now mean that federal government means APC? Because it was the federal government that levied that allegation.
Exactly, that's his issue. So I think the person that was talking is Liam Mohammed or whatever. Okay. And he's trying to say that actually Nigerian borders are porous. From east, northeast, northwest, north, south, everywhere. People can come into Nigeria from all parts of the world. And then we don't have this system and the technology of monitoring who is where. In other established countries, other advanced countries, you come in, once you step into their country, they know where you are. And once it's time for you to go, you must have to go. If you don't go, then they can track you and then repatriate you or put you in prison. But it's not so in our own situation. People coming from Cameroon, people coming from Benin Republic, from all parts of the north. And that shows that the borders are porous. And that is why we are having some of this insecurity. Because most of the people, that the way they treat human beings, you start to wonder if they have relations in Nigeria. Many of them don't seem to be Nigerians. Otherwise, it will be very, the way they kill people, you start to question if they have blood in them. Not to talk of their own relations who are either from Benue or from any part of Anambra and what have you. So I'm in support of PDP, that the country is porous. And then trying to open up again, it means it doesn't make
It's sense. A contradiction. But yes. I want to find out here, that statement that was made by Atiku, that our borders are porous, then bringing security under your watch, is it trying to say that I am bringing in armed, peddlers, but I didn't open the border. The borders were already open, so it wasn't a situation of that I opened it to bring. It's been open, so anybody can bring in anything or anybody.
Well, remember what we are doing is analysis. We are not trying to separate any of the two groups. What I feel Atiku should be saying is that what the other group said is false, that they have no plans to open borders because the borders are already open. And opening them wider will now mean that the country will be finished. So that's the way I see it. But if actually Atiku is going to open borders, he already knows the implications. Because this insecurity, banditry, kidnapping and the rest of them, as a result of the porousness of our borders.
The fact remains that Atiku is not in power. He has no right to open
Exactly.
any border.
Atiku is not there yet.
Okay, and then PDP presidential candidate desperate. Is he desperate? Haven't contested since 1992. Will you classify that as being desperate?
Well, desperation is part of politics, the way I see it anyway. If you are not desperate, you stop contesting, you stop campaigning, you stop reaching out to people, you stop mobilizing. So if you are docile, how do you now get votes? How do you convince people to vote for you? So that's the idea of being desperate. I don't think is the correct thing to say.
So everybody is desperate.
They are all desperate.
They are all desperate.
If they are not, then why run for the election?
Come out to rule? Okay, Godwin Emefiele's travels, the inside story. Well, yesterday, throughout this week, we started talking about what's going on with the CBN governor. Him being accused of not carrying out a policy that CBN Act does not support in the first place, and then the fight that the reps have been giving him initially was for him to move the withdrawal limit, and now they're now telling him to stop both the resigning and everything about the entire process. So what do you think is going on?
Well, I don't know. There's a piece that I read that is not even connected with the issue of redesigning the Naira, which had to do with a grievous issue of fraudulent and corrupt practices. I don't know if, maybe this is not the forum to say that. That's had to do with stamp duties and the rest of them, which they're accusing Emefiele of trying to collect more than something trillions. And that's this. But what I'm trying to say is that the issue of redesigning the Naira is not what they mean by these travels. However, if as an individual, what the central bank is doing and what they're trying to do, I think is in the interest of the country. But you know that Nigerians have lost faith and trust in government and our governance. That is why anything any of the policy institutions do, anything the government does is seen from the negative side. Otherwise, the argument presented by Emefiele and his group, even though it has shown that the group has little or no synergy among the members of his group, because most of the questions they asked the lady who now represented the CBN,
deputy,
she couldn't answer most of them, which means that they are not working as a team. So what are we trying to say? So redesigning the Naira and then trying to reduce the quantity of money in circulation, I think is not a bad thing to do. It's in the interest of the country. Considering the level of inflation in Nigeria, high rate of inflation that people you go to the market with 1,000 Naira, you cannot buy a cup of granules. It's very, very dehumanizing. And then Emefiele and his group felt that the best thing would be to reduce the quantity in circulation. And those who have been keeping this money in their houses would not have need for them after some time. So that is just in the interest of the people, so that the Naira will gain some weight. But you can now see that somebody has said it's corruption fighting back, and that is it. But the question is, do we do things in Nigeria with timetable, with a lot of timetable or planning? In other climes, they will tell you, this month of the year, this is what we are going to do. By next quarter, this is what we are going to do. You just wake up in one morning, you start a policy. That's part of the problem with Africans. And at the end of the day, you now find out that some of these policies are not in the interest of the people, because you have not presented it to the people that will be the ultimate beneficiaries to make their contributions. You wake up, you think you are doing the best for the country. So many people have a way of trying to attack some of these things. So that is basically this. The woman was asked yesterday how much note they printed, and she said she was not aware. And then later said it was 500 million Naira. So, which means they don't have data, they don't have statistics, they don't have details of it.
Or she wasn't prepared for the interview.
That is part of it. So, what are we trying to say? That we should better work. Any institution, wherever we find ourselves, people working as a board should be part of the board, should have information so that once you are asked, you'll be able to provide it. Today we are told Nigeria has about 200 and something million people. And then how do we arrive at that? These are part of the problems. You start quoting statistics when you have no basis to get to that point. So that is part of it. So Emefiele's problem, he's out of the country now because he's sick. And we don't know when he's coming back. And that is just part of the problems.
It's part of the problems. But from your own assessment, how will you rate that policy? Well, you may have issue with the timing, but then from what I heard him said earlier, what is happening now, was what he tried to avoid by hitting it this way, because he knew that this money bags wouldn't want this to happen. So he took them by surprise, and they're still fighting to ensure that this doesn't go. So how will you assess that?
I already said it. You don't take, you are working for me. I engaged you. Nigerians engaged him more or less. And then all of a sudden, you now want to take Nigerians by surprise.
No. Prof, is this not supposed to be an independent institution?
Independence does not mean that the people you are working for won't be part of it. I've said that what he's trying to do, in all honesty, I think is good. Because for those of us who are just at the middle or lower part of the poverty level, we don't have much to gain or lose because we are not packing any money anywhere. But those of them who are politicians, who are keeping a lot of money in their houses and in tanks and warehouses and what have you, they have a lot to lose. And that is why they are quarreling. And so that would have meant that some people would have been part of the discussions before it is done. But he has taken them unawares. Look at where it has landed us. So that is the situation.
Okay, thank you very much. Killers of US-based hotelier, Lagos-Ibadan Highway kidnappers arrested. Okay, that story trended about how many months ago. But what really pained me about the whole thing was the family insisted that a man, a Nigerian, should be taken from Nigeria, the dead body should be taken from Nigeria and buried in US because of what happened to him. Okay, let's move on. The next paper now is the Nation newspaper. And the banner headline there says, Tinubu multiple exchange rates petrol subsidy to go. Tinubu multiple exchange rates petrol subsidy to go. That's Tinubu is saying that these ones will go if he clinches the power. APC candidates promises to fix power, introduce students loans. Okay, let's look at this too. I am no CBN, but I know that could go away if I am the president. When you vote for me, write it down and confront me when it is time. Okay.
Who is saying that? Is it Tinubu?
It's Tinubu that is saying this. Okay, down here, Wike allies to unveil preferred presidential candidate next month. I see. And then the Guardian newspaper is the next paper this morning. Lawmakers constituency project delay 2023 budget. Yes, I think I've seen that story somewhere where the lawmakers are giving reasons for the delay of the budget. And then now they are saying it openly that lawmakers constituency projects delay 2023 budget.
That's not what the lawmakers are saying.
Okay, let's look at the rider. Yeah. Senate fixes December 28th for passage of appropriation bill. Okay, and then the next paper is the Daily Trust. Cash withdrawal limits, reps to insist on policy reversal. Cash withdrawal limits, reps to insist on policy reversal. Let's look at the riders there. Wamako wants Emefiele sacked. Policy, not politically motivated, CBN. And then 500 million pieces of notes printed. Other stories coming from the Daily Post. Military probes killing of civilians in Zamfara airstrike. Morik accuses Lagos principal of forcefully removing students' hijab. And then down here, what else do we have? Ambassador Shehu Malami buried in Sao Koto. Okay, all these and many more are what you will find in the papers we are reviewing this morning. Then, Prof, let's get back to our discussion this morning. Yeah. Okay, you wanted to say something while I was talking?
No, I wanted to start from the first one.
Okay.
The one that says
that's Tinubu.
Yes, Tinubu's.
Okay. Said that multiple exchange rates and petrol subsidy will go.
It's very funny, when you hear some of these things. Tinubu had been the leader of this party for more than 7 years. The leader of APC that had been in power for 7 years, 6 months now. They have less than 6 months to go. And I wonder...
1 minute, sir. Yeah, hello. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome. Hello.
Please, I want to contribute something.
So what is your name and where are you calling us from?
Okay, I'm calling from Oka. My name is Okudele.
Okudele, you're welcome.
Yeah. Okay, if you were saying of being desperate, yes, somebody may be desperate of contesting, and somebody may be desperate of leadership. So I don't think all of them is desperate to go and destroy or eat Nigerian money or so. I hope my own candidate, as my brother, as an Igbo person, is not desperate to go and destroy Nigerian money. So he's not desperate. If any person is desperate from the other party, I don't know.
Okay.
Himself, I believe what he's going there to do is just go and put Nigeria in order. That is all that is what I believe in his own side about Labour Party.
Okay.
I'm not calling party, but I'm calling him himself. He's going there to put things in order. I know Nigeria has been destroyed already by other people. I don't know. I don't want to call their name, but what I'm saying is that he's not desperate to go and eat money. We know what he did in
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But please, we didn't mention any other presidential candidates. We are just quoting.
You just said that some person is not desperate to destroy Nigeria.
It's okay.
And all of them are being nationalistic. They want to be patriotic. Mm-hmm. So that's the way it should be. During campaign, you will tell us the heaven and earth you will bring to the world, but when the chips are down. Anyway, what we are trying to say is the issue of Tinubu and his party. Mm-hmm. From that comment, it means has indicted his party for 6-7 months and a half. He has said that his party didn't do well in terms of exchange rate, in terms of subsidy. Mm-hmm. That's exactly the interpretation of that comment. Because if the party had done well, removed the subsidy when he did, or didn't remove it and then backed it up with a lot of them, maybe he wouldn't have made that comment. And he had been in the mainstream of that political party, which means that he would have advised the president the correct way to do and the correct thing to do. You get exchange rates, those of them who are the mainstream of government and then who are inside the parlor of government, not even at the corridors, we buy 100 naira. People are getting, and so he has been for 7 years, and now he's that means.
Okay, maybe he doesn't want to sell his ideas to another person. Since you know that he's going to be the next president, as in Amy Lincoln.
He's under the umbrella of AP. If we ask what he done, the candidate, that's all right, but it should happen.
For Wahala in this station, whereby I know there's no ideology.
Since your own party didn't have ideology, otherwise they would have done that.
And the politicians seems to.
Now that's
everybody
just to gain votes. Somebody the is to and then be able to use.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Wike allies to unveil a preferred presidential next month. Let's look at the rider there. The rider says, Rivers governors rules out support for serial defector. I don't know what's going on with the G5. Okay.
Well, I think this issue of Wike, well, Wike, he has tried for PDP. He tried for, by January, he will now pronounce his preferred candidate. But one vote.
That's exactly.
Every person in places where they have the G5, where they all support him and then give all the vote. There's only one vote, and if at the end of the day, they are doing nothing, depending for their party, presidential candidate of their party. Because if January the campaign close, you have come back and say you still belong to PDP. Mm-hmm. This is the time to belong to any political party you want to belong. Canvass for the party, convince, sell your and sell your ideology to members of the public. And this issue of every day we continue to talk of a preferred candidate as if some of these governors have votes down. To influence people either, but I believe that Wike should not overstretch his luck, because at the end of the day, those of them who are already part of the system will continue to be there. And if supposing his party, yes, his party is still his party because he's not yet out of it. Supposing his party loses at the end of the day, they will all suffer. Mm-hmm. Anyway, unless he joins the one that will win. He mentions the one that will win.
Automatically, if he's supporting any other party apart from his own party, there's possibility that when the party that he's supporting wins, he will, shift ground. Okay, he will join them.
It's natural in Nigeria. Defection is a part of the problem. But he's saying that he won't join serial defectors. I don't know. Well, maybe Atiku moved from PDP to APC back to PDP, and maybe he's the serial defector.
And who has he moved? P2B moved from Apoga to PDP, and from PDP to Labour. And then...
all of them have been moving.
Oh, okay. Maybe he's talking about Tinubu, because Tinubu was from...
Collapsed his own party.
Collapsed his own party, ACN,
they formed APC.
APC, okay. Maybe that's who they want to support. Let's move on. The Guardian newspaper, Lawmakers Constituency Projects Delay 2023 budget. I think let's talk about the budget, actually. The
budget, this government started well sometime in the past. We must give them that credit. And they started by making sure that the budget year is made authentic and worthy. That is by January to December budget for every year. In the past we had experienced a situation where the government will do a budget, and then by May the next year, the budget is still running. But they came in and then brought some sanity in terms of budgeting, which is very good. But you now see that even this one, they should have passed it, so that by January it will start running. They are now choked by time. And it's noticed a situation where the president is still sending some supplementary budget of 109-something billion to the House for approval, which means they are not done with implementing that of 2022, and then that of 2023 will suffer. So what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that when you do a budget and it's not strictly followed, it will affect the program and policies of government negatively. And so any government that is coming into power should be able to do a budget that will last for 1 year and then strictly implement. Because the problem we have in Nigeria is that you prepare very beautiful policies, programs, and what have you. Implementing them become very, very shaky and shoddy. So now the two groups, the legislature and the executive, they are now trading blames. the members of the executive are saying is because their interests, the interests of members of the House, were not built in their, what do they call it, constituency project. That's why they are unable to pass the budget. Then the members of National Assembly are also saying that a lot of confusion in what the executive sent to them, and they were unable to clean and reconcile before now. They are hoping that by next week they will have been able to reconcile and then send the copy to the president. The president might keep it for another 1 month or so before he signs or refuses to sign. So what is the situation? The situation is that the two groups should understand themselves and tell us the truth. None of them wants to a kind of agree that they are the problem. These people are being accused of constituency projects, and then anyway, so that is it. The important point is that we should be able to get some of these things worked out so that the society will not suffer by next year.
That's the most important thing, whatever it is. I just wanted to talk about that supplementary budget because I don't know how many months do they have to go. What are they going to do with the supplementary budget within the space of 8 days that the year has to run off?
That is part of the problem.
You understand? Instead of passing this other one so that it starts running by January. So are they going to use the supplementary budgets in another year? So what are you going to do with the budget of that same year?
It's a question which only the party and the president will answer.
Okay. Thank you very much. This other story, I think we have seen it. Cash withdrawal limit reps to insist on policy reversal. But Wamako wanting Emefiele sacked is what I don't really understand. If you are insisting on reversal of policy, is it the whole policy redesigning of the Naira and then the withdrawal limit, which of course he has increased yesterday. We saw that in yesterday's paper, that Emefiele has increased the withdrawal limit. Okay, for corporate,
5 million for
and individual.
500,000 for individuals.
Okay, you see it. And then why do you still want him sacked if it is not corruption fighting back, like we said?
Well, you have already said it. That's part of politics, because politics simply means that there should be disagreements and resolution of these disagreements. But in the situation of the third world countries, we don't resolve problems. Rather, we try to invoke a lot of sentiments. Instead of resolving problems, we now channel it. It's from this side, it's from north, east, west, Igbo, Hausa, Fulani, and the kind of thing. So that you compound the problem and whip up sentiment from the poor masses who will now go engage themselves, kill themselves, fight for something they don't even enjoy. They don't know about. So it's still very questionable why, what's the name? Emefiele must go. After all, Emefiele said that the president was aware of his program. And the president also accepted that he knew that there was going to be redesigning of Naira. So why is it now that it's only Emefiele that must go?
Is it not to show that there's nobody in charge?
That is part of the
problem. Everybody is wielding power from his own side. So
why should Emefiele go when somebody that had given him the job, who has accepted that he was part of it, not be talked about? I can't understand, just like you're also confused, that it's very worrisome why Emefiele must go. Even though he has not, even if they claim that he has not been doing very well, they should have allowed him to complete this policy. Because generally, at least 60% of Nigerians are in support of this
and from this pressure coming left, right, and center, do you see him reversing this policy finally from here?
That is the issue. The question is now, what will be the consequence?
If he does.
Yeah, and if he doesn't do. If he doesn't do, what will be the consequence?
Okay.
Yeah, so either way, he's in trouble. Because the powers that be want him to reverse it. And we have to hope that the president must also talk. The whole boss is on his table. He has to tell the world that I'm in support of the central bank governor. People should allow him to do his job. And then the central bank governor should also cite sections of the constitution that back him. The constitutional issues should be able to back him, and he should be able to assert his position and do what he wants to do notwithstanding whose axe is God.
I see. Thank you very much, Professor Obiajulu Obikeze. I wanted to call you Olikeze. Okay. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, Prof.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
It's always my pleasure having you here. And when you are here, I am very, very careful because, you know, it's not easy staying close to a prof.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Those of you that watched the newspaper, we are going to be here Monday. This is the last edition for this week anyway. And we'll wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you.